Well, let's go to India now, where a filmmaker has investigated the local cattle industry. India is a mega exporter of beef to the rest of the world, but based on the film Maa Ka Doodh, cows and buffaloes are raised primarily for milk, with beef being really just a byproduct. Well, the documentary also found a shocking underground network of farms and slaughterhouses with some of the most unimaginable conditions for bovine animals. Here's Sharon.
Harsha at Makuri was studying to be a medical doctor in India when a visit to a local market sparked his interest in the meat industry. His journey began into how it all works.
I took my parents' permission and left my well-paying job.
He discovered that animal slaughterhouses were increasing across the country. But that's not where the story begins. After cows give birth, calves are taken from their mothers. The cows then continue producing milk for about 10 months. They're impregnated again, and the cycle is repeated. The cows are kept alive until their milk runs dry. Once they stop producing milk, some cows are killed. Others are abandoned or sold to slaughterhouses. Harsha's investigation spoke to many people, and while they may be aware of how the dairy industry works, it's not enough to make them give up milk. Harsha delved deeper into the issue. He read books on the topic, spoke to people from all over India, and learned more. It was a mammoth challenge as he sought to understand the connection between the dairy industry and the beef market. It is illegal to kill cows in most Indian states because they're considered holy animals within the Hindu community. Many people worship and decorate them during festivals. But the harsh reality is cows are milked until they have produced the very last drop. But not just cows, buffaloes too. The animals are forced to produce 20 liters of milk a day. That's way above a cow's natural capacity. It's all to feed the world's largest dairy market. India accounts for at least 23% of global milk production. And demand is on the rise, not just for milk, but beef as well. While investigating, Harsha says he was shocked by what he discovered in India. According to a U.S. Department of Agriculture report, daily exported 1.6 million tons of both cow and buffalo meat in 2019. However, data released by the Indian government only shows figures on the export of buffalo meat. 9.5 million buffaloes were killed for export between 2019 and 2020, but 22.5 million cows were killed for local consumption. The numbers show the disproportions and are reportedly going up every year. The industry is fed by not only the 110 legal buffalo slaughterhouses across India, but also by many more operating illegally. To take his investigation to the next level, Harsha tried to interview owners of slaughterhouses. That conversation didn't get very far. He reached a dead end and was warned to discontinue. But he pressed on, visiting dairy farms where he found buffaloes living in terrible conditions. Buffaloes were left in their own excrement, whether standing or lying down. Many of the animals were not permitted to graze, but were often left standing in a single spot. Harsha spoke to activists who called for a stop to animal abuse.
Don't keep them like we keep someone in jail.
Some urged people to adopt ahimsa, a lifestyle of non-violence to both humans and animals. The teachings promote vegetarianism. Plant-based dairy and meat organizations also exist in India, producing milks using soy, cashew, and almond. But there are fears that investing more in the plant-based milk industry will harm the existing dairy and meat economies. At some point, Harsha wondered if veganism was a practical solution.
So when we go vegan, industry is going to stop producing new animals. Then we will release over 80% of the ice-free surface of the Earth.
For every second spent watching this report, one cow or buffalo is killed in India. Harsha admits it's a complex issue, but he recommends that time could be spent at least helping to put an end to animal cruelty by beginning with questions to local authorities about how livestock are kept and treated. Sharon Ogunleye, Just 2 Degrees.
Super hard to watch, right? Well, Sharon's interview with Harsha went on a bit further.
Technically, the dairy industry in India mainly operates through two forms. One is organized sector and the other is unorganized sector. Organized sector is where mostly majority of them are cooperative unions where farmers come together and form a company, and they produce, distribute, and sell the milk products through that company. Some of the major brands include such as Amul, which you might have heard, like they distribute their products to all over the world. And this is the organized sector, and this organized sector also includes non-cooperative dairy farms, which are run by big dairies, private companies. And these take about 20% of India's dairy industry, whereas the majority of the dairy industry, which is 80%, is run by individual farmers who have usually two to five cows or buffaloes. So majority of the dairy industry operates through unorganized sector, where these dairy farmers produce and distribute in their locality